Oh, we are so back. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm so pleased to be in front of the camera once again. Thank you for sticking with me. Welcome to my new listening room in Colorado Springs. It's been quite the journey to get to here, but I'm so thrilled to be back making videos again and talking about audio and records and all that fun stuff. This video today is a bittersweet video for me because this is a tribute to my favorite, my most trusted classical record dealer that I've ever worked with, and that is Sophia Singer at spyroclassics.co.uk. I have here an order, a box I'm about to unbox, all the way from Leicestershire, England, where Sophia runs her mail order record business, and this is probably my final order from Spyro Classics, and it's sad. So I wanted to do a video today talking about Sophia and this amazing business that I've kept kind of closely guarded. I mean, I've told a few people about it, people that I trust, but it's been kind of a safe haven for me. One of the few places that I trust to order, original UK pressings of classical music. Ordering these records on the internet can always be a bit of a dicey proposition, and so I've always recommended to people that you find a dealer that you trust. And for the last 8 years or so, Sophia has been my record dealer of choice on the other side of the Atlantic. I first heard about Spyro Classics from reading Stereophile magazine back in 2016, and I read a beautiful article by the late great writer Art Dudley, who I miss his writing a lot, but I think one of the best articles he ever wrote was a profile on Sophia and Spyro Classics that he wrote up in Stereophile magazine. I guess this was back in a time when not a lot of people were talking or cared about classical records, and as you can see by a lot of the collecting fervor around the original source and the tracking angle and YouTube, people are talking about classical records again, which is awesome. And Art detailed kind of his journey through trying to buy UK, EMI, Columbia SAX, wideband Decca pressings from England, and all the various problems that come with that and the difficulties in getting these records in good described condition. So it was definitely a breath of fresh air to read about Sophia, who not only thoroughly grades her records, but actually play grades all the records she sells and counts the individual ticks and pops in some cases on some of the higher profile records. So very, very, very accurate play grade descriptions of some of these rare records. And so I started ordering from her back in 2016, and I never ordered as much as I liked because, the British pound was always not a great exchange rate, although sometimes it's been better. And, ordering records from overseas is an expensive proposition, but I could be assured that whatever record I ordered from Spyro Classics would always arrive exactly as described, in fantastic condition and really collector quality. So I've treasured the records I've collected from Sophia over the past 8 years, and I was really disheartened to get an email a couple weeks ago talking about the fact that this would be her last email update, her last stock list on her mail over service, because she is closing down after 31 years in business. She's turning 79 this year, so she thought it was about time to retire. So this will be my final order from Spyro Classics. I'm going to unbox it for you and show you all what I ordered from her shop. But before that, I wanted to briefly wish everyone a happy Record Store Day. Record Store Day was yesterday. I'm filming this on a Sunday. And I was traveling for Record Store Day, so I didn't really get to participate. I was traveling for work. But through the help of some others, I was able to grab the one record that I really wanted. Not a classical record. I don't think they even had any classical records for Record Store Day this year. But it's a record that I adore from my childhood. And it's the first time it's been on vinyl. It's Horse the Band's 2007 album, A Natural Death. And I already listened to it. It's the best this album has ever sounded. Not an audiophile album, but an amazing progressive hardcore album. And I think this band is hugely underrated. So I was so happy to actually get a copy of this. I wish they do more of their records. Now back to the classical records, because I have a lot of classical records to show you, because I bought a lot of records from Sophia over the years. And they're always easy to spot in my collection because they have that little catalog number she puts on most of her records. And it's one of the few stickers I don't take off on records. These little catalog numbers here. So I've ordered some really great recordings from her over the years. And I wanted to, before I did this unboxing, I wanted to show some of them off. I mean, you have classic 70s Andre Previn postage stamps. I love collecting these records. They're great sounding. This is Rachmaninoff's The Bells, ASD 3284 on the postage stamp label. And these 70s postage stamp records are traditionally not that expensive. I bought a lot of opera highlights from Sophia's catalog. They were always very reasonably priced. One of my favorite ones is this Columbia SAX blue-silver label of highlights from Der Rosenkavalier, my favorite recording of this piece with Herbert von Karajan and the Philharmonia Orchestra. Beautiful original label, UK Columbia. Just gorgeous. Georg Scholti conducting highlights from Mozart's Così fan tutti. I love these opera highlights records because I'm never going to listen to a whole opera on vinyl. I'm going to watch a whole opera, but not listen to. On a narrow band Decca. Verdi Rigoletto highlights. Sutherland, and I don't know the other singers on here, but wide band Decca edition 2, I think, yes. More Jones Sutherland La Traviata highlights, also on Decca. I think this is also a wide band pressing. Rossini's Italian in Algiers, another highlights record. These are always very reasonably priced, so they were easy buys for me. If I was placing a larger order, I'd usually grab some of these. Nice addition to Decca wideband. I bought this last year, and this is one, I can't believe I shipped this from England, but this is a very hard box set to find, and it's the EMI, His Master's Voice, Melodia, complete Shostakovich symphonies with Kondrashin. All 15 Shostakovich symphonies on UK EMI/Melodia. This is such a cool box set. Is it an audiophile set? No. The Previn recordings sound better. But these are so cool to have, these Russian orchestras playing Shostakovich. Nothing beats the sound of mid-20th century Russian orchestras on this repertoire. They grew up, a lot of times they were the orchestras that often premiered these works. So that was definitely the sound Shostakovich was working with, and so I think it's always valuable to hear those recordings. Just a few more treasures I want to show off. This beautiful Oiseau Lyre recording of Rameau's The Temple of the Glory. Wonderful original pressing of Sir Thomas Beecham's orchestral favorites, Lollipops, on the gold His Master's Voice label, first label. A nice addition to wideband of Dvorak's Symphony No. 6 and the Carnival Overture with Kritesh on Decca. There we go. And now we get into some of my favorites. Some of these original EMI and Columbia SAX records. Hiawatha's Wedding Feast by Samuel Coleridge Taylor. One of the first often recorded black composers. And I believe, yes, this is on the gold and white label, first EMI label. Rossini, The Barber of Seville highlights. This is one of, I think, my first original label Columbia SAX records I ever owned. There's that beautiful silver blue label that everyone goes crazy for. Now, are the silver and blue labels the most amazing things since sliced bread? No. In fact, oftentimes I like to collect a lot of the second label Columbia SAX records. But, it's nice to have some silver and blue label pressings too. A lot of these next ones I'm going to show are second label pressings. Beethoven Fifth Piano Concerto with Hans Richter Hasser and the Philharmonia Orchestra. I think this is on the second label. This is, SAX 2422. There we go. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Maria Callas doing French arias, French opera arias with the Paris Conservatoire Orchestra on Columbia SAX. This is SAX 2503. And I think this is a second label. Yes, it is. Second label, semicircle label on Columbia. Mozart's Serenade for 13 Wind Instruments with the London Wind Quintet, conducted by Odo Klemperer. This is another Columbia SAX recording, SAX 5259. That beautiful, flip back cover. This is on the second label, Columbia. This is somewhat of an unknown pianist, Solomon, playing the Grieg and Schumann piano concertos with Herbert Menges and the Menges? Don't know how you say his last name. Not a well-known conductor, but in the Philharmonia Orchestra. This is EMI, his master's voice, ASD 272. Not a recording I was super familiar with, but I saw it in the stock list and it intrigued me. And this is the first label, gold and white, his master's voice label. And last but not least, probably one of my favorite conductors to collect from the Columbia catalog, and that's Odo Klemperer and the Philharmonia Orchestra playing Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5. This is SAX 2497. On the second label, semicircle red Columbia. So is that every record that I bought from Spyro Classics over the years? No, it's some of the highlights. It's the ones I could kind of find to pull for today's video. But I'm really excited to show you what I got for my last order from England, from Spyro Classics. And I got some special records. There was one record that escaped me because, she does a more traditional like mail order stock list. So sometimes she'll show things on her online list and I'll go to order them, and unfortunately someone got to them first. And there was one record that got away. The record that got away was one of those 2 LP sets, and it was ASD 317 and 318. Sir Thomas Beecham conducting Liszt's Faust Symphony and Liszt's Orpheus tone poem. The Orpheus tone poem is a piece that not many people know about, but I actually had to learn it when I was in high school, and I attended Interlochen Arts Camp in the summer. And that was kind of my first exposure to a Liszt tone poem, or any one of those like late romantic through composed tone poems. And that piece has fascinated me for many years, but it's not often performed, especially nowadays, and it's not often recorded. But she had a very rare 2 LP set of this on the original white and gold labels. Doesn't come up for sale very often, and unfortunately I was too slow on that. But I did get some really good records, so I'm gonna show those now. And this is the first time I've opened this box, so you get to see the care that Spyro Classics, that Sophia packs with. Lots of packing material. These cool cardboard stiffeners to protect the records. So let's dig in and let me show you what I got. So the first record is a record I've had a reissue of for a long time, but I've always wanted original pressing. It's SAX 2445, Francis Poulenc's Gloria in G major for soprano, chorus, and orchestra, and the Concerto in G major for organ, strings, and timpani. And this is a really interesting recording, because it's a recording that Poulenc himself supervised. So it doesn't get much better than that. This has got the French National Radio/Television Orchestra, but this is an original blue and silver Columbia SAX label. Just gorgeous with the original sleeve there. And I haven't cleaned, obviously I'm unboxing these. I haven't cleaned these yet, but just in beautiful, shiny condition. Magnificent. Some of the hardest to find and rarest Columbia SAX recordings are the ones that are actually reissues of US Epic recordings by George Zell and the Cleveland Orchestra. And this is a cool one. This is SAX 2576, Walton Variations on a Theme of Hindemith, and Hindemith Symphonic Metamorphosis on a Theme by Weber. So kind of a cheeky pairing of orchestral pieces there on the Columbia label. And I believe this is an original pressing on the second label on the red semicircle Columbia label. This one I'm excited about because it's a piece that Sophia really highly recommended on her list, and it's a piece I'm not super familiar with. It's the Block Violin Concerto, played by Yehudi Menuhin and the Philharmonia Orchestra, conducted by Paul Kletzky. This is ASD 584. Kind of a rare one. I have never really heard about this recording. And I'm not that, I've never really heard about the piece. I don't think the Block Violin Concerto is still in the mainstream repertoire anymore. But this is an original His Master's Voice. No, it's the second label. I was wrong. It's the second label. Semicircle His Master's Voice label. This might be, I believe, if I remember the listing correctly, I believe this is the first label for this recording. It was issued after they'd already finished doing the silver and white labels, or the gold and white labels. And now we get to the cream of the crop, and that is one of my favorite conductors to collect from original UK recordings, and that's Odo Klemperer. This is Odo Klemperer conducting Beethoven Symphony No. 5 in C minor, SAX 2373. Also has the Overture to King Stephen, which I don't think I've ever heard. Don't think it gets played much. And trying to remember, yes, this is an original Columbia. Got the original inner sleeve too. Original Columbia blue silver label. Just gorgeous. This is SAX 2373. And the last record is another Klemperer recording from another one of his highly regarded cycles, and this is Brahms Symphony No. 4 in E minor, the Philharmonia Orchestra. This is SAX 2350. See if we can get some focus in there. There we go. Just a beautiful, beautiful, great shape jacket. And I believe, yes, this is also an original Columbia silver label with the original inner sleeve. There we go. Look at that. I cannot wait to clean and listen to these recordings. These are going to be some special experiences, especially the Klemperer recordings. I've not heard an original Klemperer Brahms cycle pressing, so I'm excited for that. I think it's going to sound great with the Philharmonia, because the way they recorded these with Klemperer at the artistic helm, they really emphasized the woodwinds, and so I really like hearing Brahms with that woodwind sound. And I'm also very excited for that Ernst Bloch Violin Concerto, because again, it seems like a really cool piece. I listened to some snippets on YouTube, but I've never heard it live, never played it, and it's just not something that I'm familiar with, not something that's in the common repertoire anymore. So having shown a bunch of records now, held a bunch of records in front of the camera, and shown you some of the great recordings I've gotten from Sophia over the years, I guess the only thing left to say is congratulations, Sophia, on an amazing career, supplying amazing records to people all around the world, doing some of the best diligence of any record dealer that I've ever experienced, and always giving me peace of mind, ordering some of these rare records from overseas. I'm going to miss getting your stock list updates by email every couple months, but I hope you enjoy your well-earned retirement. And for those watching, I think Sophia is going to keep her store open for the remainder of at least the next couple months. So if you want to explore what's left of her stock list, please visit spiroclassics.co.uk. That website is a wealth not just of great records, but of knowledge on collecting. She has some great guides to labels, some labelographies, some cool tidbits about, Columbia, EMI, and Decca in their kind of quote-unquote golden age of stereo recording. And it's just been a great resource and a great website, even if it is a little old school in the age of Discogs and eBay. I appreciate it that much more because it's a shop that's been run with a lot of care and a lot of love. So thank you all for sticking around for my first new video in half a year. I hope to do a lot more, and happy listening. Cheers.